Hi, everyone. Stephen Melton with Vega Podcasts. We're excited to be here with our partner E78 talking about strengthening the cloud optimization. So we'll look forward to kind of talking through working with our friends at E78 and how we're supporting folks' cloud journey. My name's Stephen Melton, and maybe Rob and Joe, please introduce yourselves, and we'll look forward to get started.
Thank you, Stephen. My name is Rob Whitmore. I'm an operating partner here at E78, and we've established a fantastic partnership with Vega, and we're excited to share that experience with all of you on the podcast.
Thanks, Rob.
Hi, I'm Joe, Director of Solution Architecture here at Vega Cloud. My background is in computer science. I'm an engineer by trade. Last 20 years have been IT and helping customers go to the cloud, and the FinOps side of that is where I'm focused here at Vega, and looking forward to today's discussion.
Thanks, Joe. Rob. And we always love to add a bit of fun, or at least understanding who you are, background, but more importantly, what was your favorite tech as a kid? So that could be a tech tool, a tech toy. I'll kick it off. I've got a short list of these because I always got to grab from my bag. The Casio calculator watch, I think, was one of my favorites. Highly impractical. Really never used it, other than just thought it was cool on my wrist. That went from the Dick Tracy, or there was some little watch that shot a little bullet out of it. I upgraded to the Casio calculator watch. That was pretty fun. Highly impractical, but at least it sounded cool. So I'll go with that one today.
So I'll go next, I guess, Steve. So I have two things to talk about. I was an engineer. I've always been a techie from the very beginning. I actually was one of the early adopters of the TRS-80, or notoriously known as the Trash 80. One of the first computers that Radio Shack sold, and I tinkered with that for a bit. And based on that experience, when I got my first job at General Electric out of college, they sat me in front of a IBM PC that had 2 floppy disks, and I couldn't do much with it, programming in COBOL and switching floppy disks to make things work and compile programs. So I was a proud owner of a Devon 10 megabyte hard disk that actually plugged into the first IBM PC that was shipped. And I was one of the first in the block to get one of those, and I was actually do work with it. It was pretty amazing. And then realizing that disk doesn't even hold as much as a PowerPoint does today. So we've come a long way.
It's crazy.
Nice. Gotta love the Trash 80.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I could go as far back as a speak and spell, but when you mention that, Stephen, the thing that jumps out for me, anybody who gives me an inch, I'll talk about synthesizers. But when I first got a computer, I realized you could make beeps and boops with them, and that got me hooked on synthesizers at an early age. So maybe it was like 14, 15. I wanted one, a Roland Juno 106. So my first job, I went out and I probably worked way longer than I needed to, bought one on eBay. It's as old as I am. I still have it with me. And this collection has grown over the years, but yeah, my Roland Juno 106.
Nice. Well, it sounds like between the two of you guys, we could put together a pretty serious data center.
Yeah.
That supported something a few decades ago. Great. Thanks again for kind of having a little lighthearted fun. It's always curious to get an angle on our history. For those of you who've attended before, Vega Cloud obviously provides, FinOps platform for cost optimization, cost management, really helping enterprises and organizations, have a platform to land on to really build their strategies. And so we were excited to be able to kind of share a bit of E78 stories as a great client and as a great partner. So those of you know who we are, we'd love to hear more about the E78 perspective. So Rob, maybe tell us, a little bit about E78, mission of the company, and just to get to know you some more.
Thank you, Stephen. So yes, E78 is a advisory services company at our heart. We're not a technology-based company, which is why we've partnered with Vega. We look for best-in-class platforms to build advisory services and consulting solutions on top of the technology that others have built and add additional value. So we kind of look at ourselves at the intersection of IT and finance. We're very heavily invested in private equity companies and the companies that private equity companies own to provide cloud-based optimization, and results and provide managed service solutions to not only those companies, but also large enterprises as well. So again, the folks who we talk to are usually in the C-suite, CFOs, CIOs, controllers, FP&A, M&A folks, portfolio managers of private equity companies. And we found that the Vega solution has been very well received by those organizations when we talk about their unmanaged cloud costs.
Great, thanks. Great summary. Curious to see what are some of the primary challenges that you guys are seeing in the space, particularly around cloud cost management.
Well, there's a couple of things from my perspective that I see is that there's a lot of solutions out there, your competitors obviously, that provide a software solution, but that's kind of where it ends. You have to have a resource that has to log into 1, 2, or 3 different platforms in some cases to download the cost information, find a way to merge it together through some manual process in a spreadsheet or some other tool. And that process is very time consuming, and you have to have an internal resource do that. And FinOps resources are very hard to find, and they're not cheap either for some of the smaller and mid-sized companies that we do business with. So we think that what we're seeing in our client base is that they're looking to find a solution provider that eliminates that technology piece of the cloud optimization solution and really focus on the business, which is the reporting, the analytics, the making the recommendations for them to go back to the business unit and suggest changing things, how they can save money. So at the end of the day, you get a very coherent solution where IT and finance are agreeing on what recommendations to make and what to do. And we relieve the burden through the Vega E78 solution for all that analytics back-end work that in some cases you're paying an internal resource a lot of money to do that really isn't adding any value to the business.
Nice. So I heard centralizing and focusing on a platform to really again address the client base, but also then specialty in helping with FinOps too, or kind of some drivers.
That's absolutely critical. Without Vega, your team and the FinOps team, you're just having to have individuals that are in your organization understand all the complexities of cloud and what opportunities there may exist for optimizing. Whereas using your FinOps team, it's a perfect marriage of the technology platform and skilled resources that actually provide a complete solution, which is something that E78 has found particularly not lucrative, but particularly interesting to our clients and a good differentiator versus just a pure cloud SaaS solution where you have to do all the work yourself.
Cool. No, super helpful. And sorry, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things that we hear from a lot of folks in cloud that are consuming cloud is being able to tell a story with when their bill comes in. Is this spend, is it meaningful? Is it adding to the business, or is it waste? And there's a lot that you can tell from the data, but that's really where you need sort of that advisory component, and why sort of our partnership together, E78 and Vega, is really crucial, because for a business, you can start to tell those stories. Is there waste? Is there business value being derived from cloud? And the data is part of it. It's the context around it that is super critical. And that's usually where, other solutions can fall flat, and tying that together, I think, is really where the magic happens.
Yeah, and that's right, Joe. And actually, in the world of private equity, there's a very common phrase that's used called value creation. And when a PE firm looks at value creation, they're looking at making sure that every dollar they spend is being used wisely for the companies that they're hoping to either IPO, flip, turn around, whatever the challenge may be. You've got portfolio managers looking over all their companies, really challenging them day to day with the CFOs for cost controls, cost savings, making sure that everything that they do is an investment in creating value versus a dollar spent destroying value. And we've seen for smaller companies that don't have a focus, that can't afford to have a FinOps resource on the team, that when you look at even small companies that are built in the cloud from the ground up, they might be spending, their cloud expense might be the biggest OpEx item they have on their line item budget. And they don't have people looking at are we spending the right amount or not? And that's where I think Vega comes in with E78. We take your platform, your FinOps expertise, we put the E78 layer of expertise on top of that, and we're able to ensure and build confidence to the CFO up to the CIO, CEO, that they're using the cloud and they're spending the right amount in the cloud and it's being effectively managed. And that level of confidence is important.
That's good. And Rob, that's like you're reading some of my notes. That's a good follow up to talk us through a little bit more about what differentiates E78 in the space and how you value your customers. Because I'd love for our clients to hear specifically how what makes you guys stand out and how you support in your client base.
So E78 takes a kind of holistic view around advisory services, not just in technology, but as far as we place interim CFOs. We help companies through pre-merger integration challenges where they've got to extract value and create synergies, new business plans, and we've got the practice that I'm part of as an operating partner, our cost management solution. And our cost management solution is across all technology, whether it's an ERP system installation, staff augmentation, telecom expense management, or in the case of Vega, cloud expense management. We provide a level of customized resources, and we pick the best of breed technology partners for each of those silos to build our platform design. In the case of cloud, it's Vega. We have another partner for expense management for telecommunications. We have a partner with NetSuite on the accounting ERP side, and the list goes on. So we're actually, again, we don't have a team of software developers on our staff. We're really customized solutions for the office of the CEO, CFO, and CIO to deliver a lot of value and using the best in breed technology, but with the personal touch. It's all about the people at E78. The technology behind it is critical, which is why we've partnered with you. It has to be best in class. But we really value the relationships that we build and the experience we have managing, in particular, private equity-based companies.
Super helpful. Yeah, and I agree as well. That's the spirit of I think working with and enjoying the people that you engage in. It helps with the partnership aspects as well. So appreciate that. Maybe talk us through a little bit about what sparked the partnership. Where were we able to step in and help E78 with your client base?
So really the genesis of the Vega partnership started with us picking another partner previously. That was purely software only. And we found that we had started to build our own platform, SQL database, Power BI reporting, because we had to make up for the deficiencies in just having a software only platform, especially from companies that had multi-cloud providers. They had Google and Azure and Amazon, AWS and Snowflake or whatever. So after we had a partnership with one of your competitors for a while, and we found that we were building our own technology behind it, which wasn't going to scale. It required us to start becoming a software company, which we didn't want to be, and it was expensive to kind of put the icing on the cake. So about a year and a half ago, we started realizing that was not what we at E78 wanted to do. We're not software developers, and for those of you that have a technology background out there, starting to build a platform can all of a sudden become like a hydra, where it just becomes complicated. You have to start hiring resources to do it. It doesn't scale. Every time you bring a new customer on board, there's more enhancements required. And we just felt that wasn't our core business. So we looked to the market to find a partner that could provide not only a better platform for us to use, but could scale, could go across multiple cloud providers and provide the gray matter, the FinOps the FinOps resources that we use at Vega to help us with the curated recommendations, the storytelling. I think you mentioned it, Joe, to get to understand the business, map the resources into things to logical buckets that make sense, and then provide that to our customers so they can look at it and say, wow, I need to go back to Susan in application development and ask her, why were you doing this? Or, hey, that's a marketing server. I got to go and ask the guys in marketing what happened here. Having our customers be able to talk to the business with the information right at their fingertips through a dashboard versus having to figure it out before they can go to the business is a big advantage with them that we found.
Super helpful. Yeah, I was also then in hearing, you know, that good description and walkthrough was making me think of, you know, some of the areas that it was specifically hitting, you know, the challenges that your team faced, and then additionally, I think you listed off some good examples of what were the potential solutions that you had to evaluate, you know, again, to consider and looking at us as what would be the best fit.
I think the one thing that was maybe missing though was a phenomenal demo of the platform.
Well, your platform is very shows very well, and it's excellent. And we love working with your team too. The team couldn't be better. I'll just, you know, say, be candid.
Bishop for compliments. That's all.
So we had a transition phase. We had to go from a system that was actually customized for our customer base to a standard platform, which was Vega. So there was transitions involved. We had to redo the subscriptions. Your team was excellent. We moved our entire client base. We're now live with all our customers on Vega. We've had no attrition. There were some people wondering if the new solution would be better or worse, and it's been better. We've had, again, customers are delighted when your team gets on the calls with us as a team. They go well. If we have challenges or questions, are answered quickly. So all in all, it's been just the transition couldn't have gone smoother. And you know, we're building upon that base to, you know, expand our relationship further.
Yes, we have a demo ninja on the call with us today. Yes, we're glad that Joe is here.
Joe always does us right.
So a theme that I'm hearing, and Rob, you'd shared prior to us, you know, getting on and putting this together in our conversations, and it certainly is that theme of us being, you know, the end-to-end solution for the technology piece, as well as then a subset of focus on FinOps, and that's something that we continue to hear. There's just enough moving parts to now with organizations that have a multi-cloud strategy, in additionally to this new domain of FinOps, that really everyone wants to keep working on their core businesses. And I think that's our appeal and ask and pitch, right, to, as we talk to folks in the marketplace today, is let us be your specialist to carry the lift for the technology, and then also for the domain for FinOps. And then from there, let that be the catalyst to support your customers. So appreciate you sharing those insights. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, just a quick comment on that too. I think why that partnership really works so well is that when it comes to cloud cost management and FinOps, it's still an evolving discipline and space where what worked yesterday may not work tomorrow in the same way. So continually evolving sort of the people side as well as the platform process behind it, it's essential. And so, yeah, I mean, even with talk about AIs on everyone's minds and new consumption models, new ways of being built for it, there's a continual need to keep your hands on the pottery wheel.
And trying to keep up with that is just about impossible. Yeah. I had some stats, and they're old, but I mean, AWS, you know, introduces like 200 or 300 SKUs a month of new things you can buy, different ways to buy it. And, you know, for having a resource like Vega where your team keeps up with that, and that's what they're paid to do, and provide that information to somebody who has the ability to understand what the business is doing and not have to figure all that stuff out, but take a list of, you know, taking 1,000 different things they could possibly do down to maybe 10 or 100 things that they should really look at right now, and being able to take that back to their business contacts and have a discussion around that, and then actually take action quickly. You know, that time from realization of savings gets shortened, and that's really another real important aspect, I believe, to the solution.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to always give a good plug for our friends at the FinOps.org. For those that are familiar, many of you are, but that's another great place that shows trends and how things continue to change, and some things change quickly. So if you look at state of cloud, you look at FinOps as framework and the trends that they're seeing. It's surprising to see, even from month to month and quarter to quarter, the themes and the data that's being shown as to what's developing. So another great place to find resources, but also again, reflects, as was shared, like how quickly things are changing and what's being illuminated. So great points. Rob, you hit on a little bit, but maybe understand a little bit more of how Vega's, the Vega Cloud solution is integrated into the service offerings at E78 and how you leverage us.
Right. So usually what we do is we integrate it into our overall solution, which cloud cost management is just part of it. We do telecom expense management. Almost all of our cloud expense management customers using the Vega platform also use E78 for telecom expense management, MMS services, mobility management, sourcing their network, managing the network change from basically ordering to installation. So we tend not to sell our cloud services as a standalone solution. Obviously, you guys do that on your own. So what we do is bundle that into a wider service offering for our customers and prospects, where this is just a piece of what the of the value that E78 is bringing. And to be fair, it's becoming more and more of an important piece, because cloud spend right now, as we're seeing, is becoming one of the bigger cost buckets that customers are dealing with. And so having a solution in place through E78 to manage that cost and give them confidence that they're not overbuying is very important to our customer base.
Cool. Helpful. And I think you've kind of peppered on this a little bit. In any other areas that, or one specific that stood out as a game changer in the operation side, for you and providing the services to your clients?
I'll just give you one example. It just happened, what's today, March 15th, 2 months ago. We started the year off, and one of our largest customers, or our joint largest customer, had a kind of a top-down initiative as part of the 2024 budget that they had to reduce their cloud costs by, I think it was like $750,000 or $1 million, without a lot of thought being put into how would it impact the business. It was kind of more of a mandate versus a thoughtful decision. Mm-hmm. So it came back to us with the team to work with your folks to figure out how we're going to do this. Yes. And it was a joint partnership between E78, your Vega team, and the customer. The customer found about $300,000 or $400,000 of things that they could do on their own, okay, that they could reduce their costs. And working with us, I think the first week of the month, on January 9th, we identified a way to put most of their cloud infrastructure on a new rate plan, and which saved $46,000 a month. So literally, between the mandate coming down and 2 weeks later, between the work that we did together and some of the work they did on their own, they actually were able to identify over $1 million in savings for calendar year 2024. And those savings, because we walked the customer through exactly how to change things on the dashboard, so they were able to go in and make the changes with our guidance instantly. Once they hit the submit button, they reduced their cost immediately the next day. And so that was a great example of time to impact. That if they had to do it totally on their own and didn't have the E78 Vega solution, they would have been struggling to try to hit that target. And we were able to get them there in 2 weeks, and they were ecstatic.
Nice. No, great example. And I think that's, for us, we love the story that shows advocate. I think that's one word that I like to use as a descriptor of let us be the advocate to build smarter and faster on public cloud.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I think it's that sequencing of things is also super important, because you need to know you have trust in your data. You need to know where the opportunity is, but then what's your approach to start to digest it as an organization. I think that's one of the key things that we tend to see with our customers is, helping to make it actionable on a time horizon that makes an impact.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us a little bit, maybe where you see things going for the future, for how, we're partnering together. Things are always evolving on both sides, but, looking ahead, how we can help and work together.
So I think the partnership's off to a great start. We converted our entire customer base over to the Vega platform. Obviously, we're working on new opportunities together. I do think that that customers are going to look more and more to a partnership of not just the technology platform, but with getting gray matter from their cloud providers or their cloud consultants. in order to help them with the decision making that they have to make, and have a way to consolidate that data and make it actionable versus trying to build their own tools or having to take multiple tools or the free tools. Just being honest, you can get free data from Amazon and AWS, Azure through the cost usage reporting, but to take that data and make it meaningful is very, very hard to do internally. And the people that can do it are few and far between, and they're very expensive. So just like in 20 years ago, where companies did a lot of their internal mobility and telecom cost management internally, they realized like, why this is not a core competency of our business. Why not turn it over to somebody who can give me the information that I need for me to then go back to the business and help make the decisions that we need to make, and have it at a different level than just having to be data managers. So I think that's going to be a continued trend. I think with your roadmap, bringing data from Snowflake and other platforms, that's going to continue to be something that will be evolving. And I think that this whole FinOps practice, being a FinOps practitioner, will kind of be evolving as a career path for a lot of young engineers or technical folks that I think holds a lot of promise. And I think it's going to be a cool industry to be in.
Agreed. Thanks. Yeah, no, appreciate the thoughts, and the themes and things that I see in the partnership are allowing each of us to really be the advocate. I'll keep using that name, with the support for engaging the customers on the areas that we specialize and focus on. So I love that aspect of us being able to bring together, that focus and effort, in making sure that the customer's experience is great for our specialties and where that's specifically going. So really appreciate those insights.
Yeah, and for customers for people that are listening to the podcast, feel free to visit e78partners.com. If you're looking for a solution that might just be more than just cloud, obviously, if you're we would love to talk to any of you on the call about how E78 along with Vega can provide a comprehensive solution for not just your cloud expenses, but across the board for all your technology expenses.
For sure, yeah. So anyone listening, questions specific to the E78 story, engage with us as well. We'll be happy to follow up in resources after this is published. So happy to do that. And again, if you have any help in supporting their journey. So Joe and Rob, really appreciate your guys' time as well. Good discussion, and appreciate everyone attending and listening, and look forward to the next conversation.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Thanks all.
Thanks.
Cheers.
All right. Bye.